Hey everyone, it's Katie from Katie Thrifts Philly. I'm at an estate sale in Westchester, Pennsylvania today. I told myself I have to be good. I can only pick up smalls. There's a lot of large items here that are gorgeous, but I have a backlog and I should be listing. I shouldn't be here. But I told myself I could go to this gorgeous house. It's right up my alley. I love all this kind of stuff. The lady likes medieval tapestries, stained glass, the Tiffany style lamps, beautiful trays and trinkets and glass. And I told myself I'm not allowed to buy any of the big stuff. So you can see I skipped the whole table of carnival glass, even though it's gorgeous. That stained glass fireplace cover, I would die for. Maybe I'll buy it one day. She's going to run this estate sale again in the upcoming weeks because there's so much stuff. But I'm trying to be good and skip the glassware. This paperweight catches my eye. I've never seen that shape before, and I was checking to make sure it was smooth and no chips, and there wasn't. Probably should have grabbed those trays that were on the fireplace. So we have little tables over here. There's just so much stuff to look at. Gorgeous stuff. If I could have bought the whole house, I would have. I like those trays a lot. Some brass. Now, this lamp, when I saw it in the estate sale photos, it was on the ground. But then when I got here, it was attached to that large base. And for some reason, I was like, is that attached to that? So I confused myself. If I go back to this estate sale, I'm going to grab that lamp if it's still there. You see me looking at a tissue box cover. Those always sell. That was only $5. So I said I could grab that. Having some trouble with my bag here. It's very tight in here. So, looking at my usual trinkets, you can see I pick up some bug jewelry. There's 3 insect pieces of jewelry there I thought were cute. I do well with insect jewelry, checking for all the stones. And they weren't priced, so I assumed they would be cheaper. Then this little, very thin, it might not be brass, but it looks kind of like brass. I liked that. Just some knickknacks, but they were kind of broken. Just your standard. Maybe I should have grabbed those grapes if they're stone. I can't see. Should have looked at those flowers too. They're cute. You'll see me pass a lot of items that I should have probably looked at. There's just so much going on. And then here, I took a step outside to see if there was any like really cool planters or anything. And you can see it's much too big for what I was looking for today. So beautiful. I don't know if these were condos or townhouses, but they were beautiful little section. Again, with the Tiffany style lamps. Gorgeous. They were worth every penny that she was charging. I think that one was $275 right there in the corner. Gorgeous. Decorative plates. I know they don't usually sell, but I feel like those ones may have. Next, I'm checking out this Mikasa bottle stopper. Maybe I should have grabbed that. It was very nice. She had a ton of throw pillows, and usually I'm into that, especially the needlepoint. But they were much more worn in person. So, and then I came back here. I saw the oyster plates. I know they can go for good money, but she was charging $100 on the one I'm picking up right now. And the other one I didn't even look at because it had a large crack down the center. So you probably can't see it. Oh, the dragonfly lamp. Gorgeous. I don't know. This is my aesthetic for sure. Now, I don't pick up a lot of china or teapots or teacups. I'm sure there's value there. I probably should have grabbed this bowl for $10. I'm actually not quite sure what it is. That looked different. Next, I stopped in the powder room on the first floor, and I'm looking up this brand. I definitely recognized it, and I couldn't tell why. It's, if this makes sense, it's the brand. It's sometimes sold at Anthropologie, and it's like La Vanilla, and sometimes sold in specialty stores. Now, these were mostly empty, so they really weren't worth picking up. And I take a minute to comp them, however. I tried to look up their barcode and it didn't come up, so then I typed in the brand to see if I could figure out what it was, because I knew I recognized it. But no luck with that. And then the little spray bottle in the back I go to look at, but it's empty. I do really well with discontinued perfumes and bath items. I'm always looking in the bathroom. I grabbed that shell. Maybe I shouldn't have. And then I'm looking at this picture. Now the theme here was half the stuff I looked at had a price tag of $10 when I don't think it was worth paying $10 for that little frame. There's quite a few things that they just stuck a $10 label on, which I don't blame them, but I wasn't about to spend 10. Another gorgeous lamp. Here is, this lady had a ton of fur hats and fur coats. She had about 300. I'm missing the clip I filmed with the coat closet. I'm not even kidding. There's probably 200 coats in this closet, fur coats. Now, this scarf catches my attention. It is a silk scarf. And you can see I was looking for a tag to see if it was branded. But it had the rolled silk edges. And I figured it couldn't be too expensive because she didn't have a set price for scarves. So I'm playing with that to see what it was. It looks designer-esque. I don't think it is, but it felt like real silk at least. Scarves ended up being $5 each, which I guess is okay. Maybe I wouldn't have got them. But I think I ended up getting 3 scarves for $5 each. And then I get distracted by this silly little bear. And I should have looked at that hat hanging up right there. That looks pretty cool. I didn't even see it. With the crochet. And then this table, little trinkets, which I liked. These little brass, maybe copper things. I liked the picture of that lady right there. The other one was that little boy that I feel like I see all the time, so I didn't want to grab that print. Maybe I should have grabbed that little lady. These Greek heads just seemed like souvenirs, although if they were cheaper, I would get them. These were brass zodiac ashtrays. I think one was like Libra and Taurus. I do really well with zodiac items. I probably should have grabbed that horse. It wasn't priced, so I was kind of scared of what the price could be. So I put it back. I saw somebody else grab it, and she charged them $10, so probably should have grabbed it. This is her little... She's got some runes in here. Oh, there's a brass finial, which I did grab. She has some runes in here and some tarot cards. Now, this is just the standard tarot deck, so I didn't bother with it. Then I lost the footage with the fur closet, and now we're in the kitchen. And I just see so many things I probably should have grabbed. Little trinket box. She had so much glass, and I'm not an expert. I know some of that's worth money, but maybe that like yellow vase in the middle would have been worth money. Some of the uranium glass was there. Probably should have grabbed those candlesticks. I didn't even see them. But this lady had so many tapestries and pieces of art that I would have liked to spend more time. It was very crowded, very tight. So if she has the sale again, and she said probably not next weekend, but maybe the weekend after, because she needs to go through everything. So I'm hoping that means the stuff downstairs is discounted, whatever's left. Now, I saw some linens, and then I figured at this house, the linens were probably going to be good. I liked a lot of these patterns, but unfortunately with the placemats, there was only 2 for most of the prints that I'm finding here, or I would have grabbed them. I've never sold a setting. Oh, here's the Queen Elizabeth teapot holder, teapot cover. I thought that was cool. It does have a big stain on it, but now this one was also stained, so I didn't grab it. I thought the Queen was worth the stain, but not the standard one. But yeah, all the placemats were like settings of 2, and I've never sold. I don't know how well that would sell. But I end up, because they're so cute. Like, I wish I could have bought that. And plus, I was in the third room at this point, so I didn't want to overload the bag with 2 placemats. So I'm digging through. I ended up finding a set of yellow napkins. They're really nice, and there ended up being 10. Here they are. There ended up being 10 of these, which I feel more comfortable selling a set of 10 than 2. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be selling sets of 2. Those seat covers, those yellow ones, were also a set of 2. Or I would have grabbed them. Yeah, this is me grabbing my 10 napkins. And the queen. Yep, just doing a final check. But again, a lot of them were singles, so I don't know what was going on there. I would have bought the whole basket if there was more. I like that print, the toile print, but they were heavily stained, unfortunately. They had 4, but they were very stained. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I found this pot holder. Seemed nice. Seemed like Country Kitchen. Brand new. It was from Ross, but it was a very vintage Ross tag. So I'm going to take that off. Seems brand new. Again, I seem to like this basket. Unfortunately, I'm debating on it because I do like that print. And you'll see in the background, I look at the napkin rings there. They were really cool. They were fleur-de-lis, but there was only 3 of them. So, again, maybe, and then I was like, should I buy the 2 and get 2 napkins? But yep, the 3 brass napkin rings. Now I pick up the cat mask behind it. It was made in Venice. I'm glad I didn't grab it. Again, $10. I'm glad I didn't grab it. It looks like they comp maybe 30, and there's a lot listed. Now, I do know certain masks made in Venice can be hundreds and hundreds of dollars, actually. But I'm glad I went with my instincts. It was only 30. That yellow hobnail in the middle, maybe I should have looked that up. That was the only thing really calling my eye in there in all that class. And then she had this little cabinet filled, more ceramics. So many big ceramics. And again, I wasn't looking to bring a truck full home of stuff. Everything was oversized, as you can see. So. Now, that lady was grabbing a ton of silverware, so I don't know what I missed there. She was going to town with the silverware. Nothing in the kitchen really grabbed my attention. There was a whole wall of mugs here. I looked at this the hand of Fatima. Again, $10. I thought it was too much for that. I liked it. Now that was it was a linen made in Ireland, but she actually added it to like a felt board, or I'm sorry, like a poster board that you get in AC Moore's. So I didn't know how that would do. This was a made in Mexico mug, but when it said lead free, I was like, okay, that has to be modern. So I don't know how well that would do. The mugs were $3, so maybe I should have grabbed that one. We come over here. There's this one I end up grabbing. There we go. The checkered one. I really liked it. It had this really cute frog on the side, but then I thought, is it just like a knockoff Mackenzie Child, and would that hurt me? I don't know. It was really cute. I did grab these. They were like Capiz shell butterflies. Really cute. The one's broken, but I can glue that back together. Again, with the art, I didn't want to buy all the big artwork, but I keep seeing things that are just beautiful in the background. Really cool collection this lady had. I was debating grabbing that chicken. I saw somebody else grab it. Maybe I should have. Now, I like coasters. Unfortunately, all of these were sets of 3. They weren't like complete sets. I did grab that one because I liked the Italian look. The other ones were just singles, little tiles. They sell, but they kind of go slow, so I didn't bother. I didn't see anything I wanted in that main kitchen center. And then we're back out to this hallway. I wish I could just film the whole house without so many people in the way. It was gorgeous.
Excuse me.
And here we're gonna head downstairs. There's that artwork I really liked. It was $75 each. And I should probably look at them if I go back as well. But if any of that gets discounted, I might look again and actually look it up. Now there's like a brass Jerusalem. I think it's a bottle opener. That would sell for like $10, so I put it back. I've sold them before. I'm waiting for somebody to come up the steps.
No, you're nowhere.
All right, heading down the steps. Basement's just as crowded. Tiffany lamps. The amount of books was staggering. I wish I was a bookseller and had the time to go through that. Now, I pick up the Florentine gilt right away. I sell those the Florentine stuff all the time. They're easy sells. There's probably some other trays I should have picked up. I do end up purchasing this large tray, even though I said I wasn't going to. I just thought it was gorgeous, and the back said handmade in Peru. So I think that's something really cool. Looking at it, I should have grabbed the tray underneath it too, but I didn't even see it. But yeah, I really like that tray I grabbed for $35. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. Should have grabbed more trays, probably. Yeah, they're just some little trivets and tiles. I'm sitting on some tiles, so I didn't pick up any more. That's plastic. This little tray is really pretty, but it looked more modern. And then the plastic one again. Just some plates and things. Like I said, I don't usually pick up plates. I think my most broken object in the mail is plates, so I kind of avoid them. I find them hard to ship. I know some people don't, and some people ship them all day long, but my most broken item is a plate. So I just don't like it. Again, with the books, she had all sorts of like metaphysical books, history books. She liked her tapestries. She was light on the Christmas stuff. I usually pick up a lot of Christmas stuff at estate sales. She was pretty sparse with it. She had so many other things going on. I look at this Santa. It reminds me of a Bethany Lowe ornament, but it didn't have the tags on it, so I didn't bother. That one was Old World Christmas. I could tell by the little star on the top, but when there's so many other things, I didn't grab him. I wish I could have got back into that corner a little bit more. I probably should have tried. There's a globe back there that looks really cool. Le Chat Noir. But just like the decor in here, it's just stunning.
Is there no one down here that you know of?
Then I come over to this little table, see what's going on here. I didn't even see that hand of Fatima there. Now this caught my eye because it was a whole set, and it was actually signed by the author. But I do a quick comp, and it's the standard book prices. Like it sold for like $6 free shipping. And then I looked to see if there's any autograph things going on, and there's not.
I'm happy if I could.
That lady got a good deal. I don't know what version computer that was. It's an iMac.
Go for it.
It was $100. It looked like brand new.
I'm positive.
But yeah, I'm looking up this book.
I mean, I think.
And unfortunately, the sales were like, I think I only saw like 2 sold total. So I don't think being signed, it would have done much for me. I like the lady in the background, actually. I've spent my time looking up this book, and there's definitely other things to look at. But it's hard at an estate sale. It's hard to know when to stop. There's people everywhere. People are grabbing stuff. I usually end up comping a few things, but just going with my gut on a lot of things. I should have grabbed that Leonardo print. I think that's a Leonardo da Vinci lady. Those books I might check out if I go back. They were like value books, like FDR or something. I could be misremembering that. They looked like collector books. Then we get to some more linens. I didn't think there would be more linens, but there were. Oh, that ended up being a dish towel from Anthropology, and it still had the tags on it, so I grabbed that. I figured it would be cheap. I'm sure there's some other linens I missed out on, but a lot of it's like cut fabric, which I don't usually bother with if it's already cut. Pretty pattern, though. I'm looking at this guy. It's a pillow cover, but I think it was actually handmade. It wasn't very good, actually, unfortunately. So, and I'm not going to put it back all the way. I'm bad. But, yeah, just some more fabric. Jesus. Like, I didn't even see that umbrella stand. I walked by it. Some more books. Like, if I was going to do just books, this is the kind of house you want to do it in. But I haven't gotten there yet. I've sold books for very good money. There's a lot of money in books. I should probably give up everything else and just do books, but I like the trinkets. That's like, I couldn't tell if that was plastic or amber. Amber actually, or like amber in the middle of the plastic. Amber is actually pretty light, so it's hard to tell. That's by Caithness, Scotland. Now that can be a Bolo brand for some other items, but it didn't look like the clear paperweights were doing that well. It looked like there were high dollar other ones, but they were bright, beautiful colors. This one was clear, had a little bit of sparkle to it, but I didn't think that one would do so well, so I didn't grab it. And I think it was $15. But I've heard of that brand, and I think it can do well on other things. And me looking for the sold. And I think I only saw one, maybe two. Which surprised me, but you never know. So, and then we step over. Now, I am a big fan of stationery and things, so I do pretty well with that stuff sometimes. So I do look at it. That's a That's a pack of Shabby Chic, like the original brand by Laura Ashwell napkins. They were open on the side. Again, this cat was $10. Like, why would I like the cat, but not for 10. So now you'll see me notice some of these books. And some of the books are about like the occult and like metaphysical and different worldviews and religions. And those kind of books do so well. You might not believe in all that stuff, but the books can sell like fire. And I'm looking at them and I don't know. Would you have thought that was somebody's saved pile?
Oh,
This lady comes running over and tells me that's her saved books, and I should have known because they were covered. I didn't think that looked like a saved pile to me, but I wasn't going to touch her books. She's going to make a lot of money on those books. So here, again, with the stationery, I do like stuff. Like an address book like that, a vintage one, can sell for $15, and I got them all for $1, so there's $45. And they're easy to ship. Now, I got the two with the artwork on the front. I originally picked up that Firenze one. Or is it, I'm sorry, Florence. But I decided to put that back in the end. Now, this was a cool leather cover for a journal. I might take the journal out that's in there. That one had a rip or I would have grabbed it. That was leather as well. But this is a nice tooled leather one from, I guess, Florence, Firenze. I may or may not take that journal out of it before I sell it. Here we're looking, I'm still looking at them. Then we get, like I said, to some stationery, which I enjoy. They can be, some are fast flips, some are slow flips, but they do all sell for me, stationery items. Especially something interesting. Yeah, looking at the cards. There was actually a lot of cool cards, but there was a lot missing. There was a lot of boxes that only had 2 or 3 cards left. And I actually saw that card in the pile. So I decided to give somebody else a chance to get another card in there. But maybe if I go back, I would grab the whole card bin and say, what do you want for it? Because sometimes vintage cards can sell. Like, I thought this guy was cool, but I didn't know. So he looks like a 70s guy. And then there's some 70s girls coming up. So, believe it or not, a card like that can sell for $6.99, just one. But you got to be in the mood to be doing your small items. Now, these cards are Zodiac cards. They had all the Zodiac on it, and they said something cute about your birthday, like all signs point to you having a happy birthday. And I thought that was kind of funny. I've never seen, like 60s, 70s greeting cards with the Zodiacs on them before. So, and it was the whole set, so I grabbed them in the envelopes. None of the other sets really grabbed my attention as they did. But, I mean, I'll sell anything Zodiac. I do really well with it. So, I think this is me putting back that Florence one, because I thought that was maybe too niche. But again, everything's a tight squeeze in here. There's people everywhere. These were gorgeous cards, but there was only 2 left. They were really nice. Maybe I should have grabbed them. They probably would have sold for like 10 each. This was a cat's breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know if this was like officially licensed or what this was, but I didn't end up getting it. Some little journals, and then you'll see my ADD kick in. There's this tin over here for these pens that they used to sell in like the 2000s. They were like the milky gel pens. I used to own some. I recognized the tin, but those were newer pens from Japan. They weren't the ones from the Y2K era that may have sold. I sell a lot of Y2K decor stuff, stationery. I should probably get into the Y2K clothes, but I don't usually get into clothes. I'm sick of them. This over here, that's the oldest Apple thing I've ever found. I don't know if it's worth anything. She gave it to me for $1. Then I find these, not Smithsonian, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, like catalog books or little magazines, and they're from the 70s. So I end up grabbing about 4 of them. I do great with Metropolitan Museum of Art branded items. Metropolitan Museum of Art jewelry is usually a great deal to get. I've sold other things as well, so I said, why not? So I think I got 4 of them. She gave them to me for $1 each, which was probably pretty good considering what she was charging for the other books. Do you think that Apple book is worth anything? I don't know. It's from 1993. But that's the oldest Apple thing I've ever seen. And again, I start to get distracted over here. But I do like to look at the stationery items. I end up picking... that's a tin of mints with Christopher Columbus on the front. The lady made a joke to make sure that they weren't drugs when I bought them, and she's like, I can't be selling them if they're. But then I found these cool letter envelope openers. The one was marked the brand Robbins. I don't know if that's anything, but I think she gave them to me for $1. These were cool. These were like chakra art cards or like greeting cards. I thought that was kind of neat. And that one was actually full. There's that lady who I was stealing her books before, and she's like looking to see what I'm getting. But I get a little bit distracted by the stationery. Nothing crazy over here. That was a brass thing. I don't know what that was. Maybe I should have grabbed it to learn. I'm a fan of that. If I don't know what it is, sometimes I'll grab it just to figure it out. Especially if I've never seen it before. And I've been reselling for 8 years now, like officially part-time. So if I've never seen it, I usually... It could be something that's cool. Then I come back over to the fabric and the patterns. Now, you'll see somebody did a needlepoint thing that lady's looking at, but they were kind of stained. That's the thing. A lot of the stuff was stained. It looks better in the background than it is. Now, I probably should have grabbed this table runner, but at this point I was getting overwhelmed with like the linens, and there's no measurements on it, and it looked like a big one, so I didn't feel like measuring it, but it's pretty. So there's a few electronic things. To me, none of that looked great. And then you'll see this lady keeps jamming me up the whole time. And she only ended up she walks around the whole store and bought 1 bottle of laundry detergent. She kept getting in front of me at different points. and all she was buying was the laundry detergent. But again, nothing too much in this corner. A bunch of candles. I'm wondering if I shouldn't have got some of those rainbow candles over there. The one was like wrapped and IKEA, and I do well with IKEA discontinued products as well. Maybe I should have grabbed that. I did grab these coasters. They had that Italian look to them. They're not Florentine, but just that look. I do well with items like that. And these boxes said recipes. Maybe I should have grabbed them. I'm not sure. I know old recipes can sell, especially like clipped up versions like that, but I didn't understand, so I don't know if it was recipes or not. So I keep leaving my bag around and checking. I wish I could have got back there more. I didn't even bother going into the garage. I was kind of overwhelmed at that point, and it just looked like power tools, and there was a huge thing of Tupperware. Maybe I should have looked at the Tupperware. That can sell. So, going up here, I think I stopped to make one final sweep. It's getting really crowded at that point, and I knew I had to wait in line. I didn't see any designer sunglasses like popping out at me, so I didn't look at those. Now it's either going to be next weekend or the weekend after. She's going to open up the upstairs, and there's going to be a lot of jewelry for sale. So I do plan on going back for that. And then here I'm just doing a panoramic view of, she's just got tapestries everywhere, and they're just gorgeous. I wish I had a market for that. I don't do Facebook Marketplace where I live. And here's just some pictures of just how beautiful it was. Beautiful stuff. And I'm pretty sure this last picture is the lady of the house. And it was just like a lady dressed up. I think it was her. And I gotta say, she's got gorgeous taste.